From the shadowed peaks of the Salt Lake Valley to the mist-covered banks of the Hudson Valley and all across the globe, the signal drifts through the night. This is Midnight Signals. Now, here are your hosts, Sergeant Shenanigator and Alien Mike.
Alien Mike, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Another day in paradise.
Absolutely. I hear you guys are having some great weather out there.
Oh, yeah. Rain, thunderstorms, lightning, tornado warnings. Yeah, it's been lovely.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. I like this type of weather until it starts messing with my joints. Like today,
Yeah.
It's been a rough day. But other than that,
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I knew it was, talking to you earlier, I could tell that it was going to be a fun episode for you.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
I'm just in a ton of pain. No, we don't have any flooding here. My brother sent me a picture up in Tremont, and his house got, like, his whole backyard is flooded. So, which It sucks because he just bought the house. Brand new house. They just moved into. No, the yard isn't done yet. They just have the trees planted and it's already flooded. So hopefully everything turns out okay.
Well, at least all the dead grass that you guys haven't been watering over the past few months, it gets some water now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the nice thing is free water.
Oh yeah. So I know this one, this is kind of a special episode for you because it was a request from a good friend of yours, a good friend of ours.
Yep.
So I didn't really think that strange disappearances would fit, but it really does fit, doesn't it?
It does. When it was suggested, sorry, I was reading the chat here. Oops, I meant your grandchild is here.
Oh, hey, we got her on tonight too.
Yeah.
Little Shenanigator.
Yeah, so when it was suggested, I had asked, what kind of stuff do you want to hear about? Is there anything we haven't done? And they suggested unexplained or mysterious disappearances, but not specifically
not paranormal related.
Yeah, not paranormal or alien related, just disappearances.
Now,
and
I was going to say not conspiracy theory related, but no, there's a ton of conspiracy theories with all of these stories.
Oh yeah. Good morning, Nadine.
Nadine's with us.
Yeah.
I'm not running the comments really well, am I?
No, I'm the one doing it. Come on now.
Well, you can have it today.
Yeah, so I was quite surprised to find the things that I found. One of the things was something that I had ran across a few different times. The other one, of course, once I saw it, I had to choose that one. So,
oh yeah,
it's been interesting, that's for sure.
It'll definitely make sense. But if you're ready, I'll go ahead and kick this show off.
Yeah, let's do it.
So every year, this statistic shocked me, but every year, roughly 500,000 people are reported missing in the United States. 500,000. I didn't think the number was that high.
Yeah.
Most are found. They either come home, they're located by police, or their disappearance is otherwise resolved. But I mean, some of the remainder are kidnappings, where they've got leads, they've got things to go on, but they just haven't got them back yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones we're going to talk about, they just simply vanished. And sometimes with no trace. And our first story tonight is pretty much fits that description to a T. So this is the story of Brian Schaefer. Brian Schaefer is a 27-year-old man, and this was in 2006. He was 27 years old. He was a second-year medical student at Ohio State University. And, you know, everybody, he had recently lost his mom at the same time that he was planning a trip with his girlfriend to go down to spring break. So he'd also just finished his first year. He was halfway through his second year as a medical student, had some great plans for the future with him and his girlfriend and becoming a doctor. But, you know, losing his mom, he was suffering a little bit. But his friend said it wasn't, you know how you can tell somebody's suffering, but they're trying to cover it up, as opposed to he's dealing with it.
Yep.
These guys said he was dealing with it. He wasn't just hiding his emotions and covering it up. So his mom died of, I'm not in my second year of medical school, so I have no idea. Let's just say his mom died suddenly of an illness. This was just a few weeks prior to his disappearance. He gets back and decides he's going to go out with a friend named Clint Florence on Friday, March 31st. And he wasn't just celebrating the beginning of spring break. He was kind of reminiscing about his mom, plus talking about his, excuse me, his girlfriend, Alexis Wagner. He just wanted to go out and kind of cut loose a little bit, relax. So they started bar hopping, and they ended up at the Ugly Tuna Saloona. And yes, that is the real name of the place. And this is in Columbus, Ohio, at South Campus Gateway. So everything was going good, and at approximately 1:55 a.m., now it's over to April Fool's Day, surveillance captures Brian outside of the bar, near the front door of the bar, talking with two women. Eventually, the women walk away. Brian moves back towards the bar entrance, and that is the last time the camera or anybody saw Brian. The bar closed shortly afterwards. Clint and Meredith, who was another friend that showed up while they were drinking, went out and tried to find him. Nowhere around. And of course, they're not thinking we should call the FBI immediately. They're thinking that asshole left without us. So they don't think anything of it. He didn't show up the next day back on campus. Then Monday rolls around, and that's the day that Brian and Alexa were supposed to fly to Miami for spring break. Except Brian didn't show up. Now, if you research this story, you're going to hear that there was only one way in and one way out, and that's not entirely true. There was a back entrance for staff, and it was not covered by cameras. But the police show up. They do a little bit of investigating. They check out the surveillance camera. They can't honestly say that they saw Brian walk back into the bar. They just saw him move towards the entrance, and then he was out of frame. So they start doing some more canvassing, find some more surveillance cameras, and Brian is nowhere to be found. His car was back in its parking spot back on campus. All of his important documents and, you know, bank account stuff were all sitting in his apartment or his dorm, wherever it was. There was never any confirmed sighting. And even though he had just been given his stipend for the upcoming quarter, he never touched the money. After he made those 2 steps and walked out of frame, he was gone, never to be seen from again. However, in September, his girlfriend had been trying to call his cell phone, almost daily, and it was going straight to voicemail. Suddenly in September, she called and the phone rang and went to his voicemail again, but it was actually, it wasn't instant voicemail. It actually went through. So that brought her some hope, but when they told the police tried to ping the location again and the phone was off. So Clint was questioned because he was with him all night. I mean, they were all questioned, but Clint was questioned extensively because he was with him the whole night. And then they offered to let him take a polygraph test, and he refused. So, of course, all the conspiracy theorists come up and say, well, he refused, he's guilty. Cops end up clearing him. They end up clearing Meredith, who was with them. They cleared other people in the bar. The case is still an active missing person case. After 20 years, nobody's touched his account. Of course, now the cell phone has been turned off because it's been 20 years. Why would you continue paying?
Right.
He's just gone. Some people say that after losing his wife, he had a period of mental instability, and maybe he was just trying to escape and start a new life.
Yeah.
If you were going to do that, wouldn't you bring your money with you?
You would think.
Yep. Nobody has touched that account. That money is still sitting there from 2006. Plus, I'm sure a little bit of interest by now.
Oh, yeah.
All of his belongings were left in the apartment. No signs of foul play any place. He just, within those 2 or 3 steps, he was gone.
So
that's it for Brian.
What do you think? Do you think that, with no signs of foul play, nothing that leads to anyone or anything abducting him, do you think something happened, or do you think he just had enough?
I'm not really sure. I mean, there's more to this story. I just didn't want it to be a 45-minute story.
Right.
But, part of it was, yes, he had big plans that he was still making even after his mom had passed away. He was still making big plans for the future.
Right.
It was never officially brought up, but he was considering asking Alexis to be his wife.
Right. Yeah, I read what we were looking when I was looking at top or different experiences, disappearances. I saw that one and I read a little bit about it, and it really made me think, like, why, what happened? Where did he go? When I first read about it, it reminded me of, there's this group that I follow on Facebook, and now I can't remember the name of them, but they, when people are missing family members, friends and stuff, and the police stop searching, they hire this group of guys that are divers to search everywhere around their location. And they have found numerous people from cold cases from, 20, 30 years ago.
I follow a few of them on YouTube, and I watch them quite often.
Yeah.
There was something I did forget to bring up. There was a construction site next door. It was an active construction site. One of the rumors was that he had gotten into the construction site, maybe fell into a ditch, somehow ended up getting buried in the dirt or whatever.
Yeah.
Police ruled that out too. I mean, they not only did they search the construction site, they searched underground with the technology they had at that time. And that site didn't last all 20 years. It did go into redevelopment. So they dug it back up, and still no evidence of them in the construction site. Now, I don't know how far away from the University the river is, but that would be a definite possibility. The only thing that would go against that is the area where this happened. While there weren't surveillance cameras pointed directly at the bar, they got people's surveillance cameras from their businesses, from their homes. It was sparse around the area, but it was enough to show that he did not walk any of the 3 streets near that bar.
Yeah, so the conspiracy theory part of me wants to say abducted.
I'm thinking the same thing. And the one thing I couldn't find, and I don't know if the cops are keeping it or if it's just not mentioned that much, but they don't mention whether a car pulled up to the bar and stopped or not. But from what I understand, this is kind of like a corner bar, so there may be a traffic light there, and that would kind of be pointless anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, they don't mention that, but the possibility is always there that he just had enough and figured out a way to get out of there without anybody knowing where he was going.
Yeah. So I'm along the abducted side too.
Yeah.
And not the tinfoil hat abduction, of course.
That's the one I'm under, is the tinfoil hat aliens.
The tinfoil hat?
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, we did have the Manhattan abduction.
Yeah.
Sorry. Always trying to bring that joke in.
Don't make me laugh. I hurt too bad. Good old Linda.
Yeah, I wish there's a ton of information on this, and it could take months and months to go through everything. But from what I've read, there was no mention of any other people in the area other than the 2 girls who had walked away.
Right.
But I mean, this is a university dive bar. There's going to be traffic. There's going to be people on the street. So, yeah, something happened to him. I think he was taken, but why? I don't know. I mean, as far as anybody knew, he wasn't into drugs. He wasn't in gambling debt. He wasn't in debt with anybody.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Like the title says, just mysteriously disappeared.
Yep. So, yeah, and it's still an open case, and they still actively investigate it.
Well, here's to hoping one day they figure it out.
Oh, yeah. All right, what you got, man?
Well, the first one that I've got is Frederick. I don't know how to say his last name, Valentich. So he was what the hell? Okay. He was a 20-year-old Australian pilot who disappeared on October 21st of 1978. He was flying a Cessna 182 from Melbourne's airport toward King Island when he disappeared over the Bass Strait. So he had radioed in, and let me go to this one right here. So in the end, I mean, he just disappeared. But so on October 21st at 5:23, he had filed his flight plan at the airport, which is just southeast of Melbourne. He had planned to fly to King Island, across Bass Strait, and then turn around and come back. I mean, he was a relatively experienced pilot, 150 hours of flying experience, held a class 4 instrument rating. At 6:19, he departed. His planned altitude was approximately 4,500 feet, and the weather conditions in the area were generally favorable, good visibility. At 7 o'clock, he reported reaching Cape Otway. Man, Nadine, if you're there, I am sorry, but I am messing these names up, I'm sure. Cape Otway, He was now just approaching Bass Strait with King Island just ahead of him. At 7:06, he made a strange radio call. He had contacted the Melbourne Flight Service Unit, and he asked if there was any unknown craft or any known craft. Man, I can't even read what I typed today. Operating below 5,000 feet in his vicinity. They told him there was absolutely no traffic in that area. And then he reported seeing what he believed would be. Sorry, I just had to tab back. Okay, I'm glad I'm getting it somewhat right. Oh,
whoa,
man.
I damn near screwed up.
What?
I went to hit the comics. I wanted to hit the comments and post that up there.
And almost hit end
And
stream?
I almost hit end stream.
You don't know how many times I've almost done that.
Wow, that's brilliant.
That would have made a
story.
quick episode, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? Hey, welcome, Click.
Yeah. So he reported seeing what he thought was another aircraft. He described it as a very large object with 4 bright lights and moving at a high rate of speed. At 7:07 to 7:08, he told the flight service officer that the object appeared to be approximately 1,000 feet above him and said that it was moving toward him and appeared to be orbiting his aircraft. So while flying in the same direction, it was going around. At one point, he described the object's behavior as though it were playing some sort of game with him and reported that the object had a shiny or metallic exterior and a green light. At 7:09 to 7:10, the unidentified object continued moving around his aircraft, and he attempted to describe its shape and behavior to the flight service officer. One of the official transcript descriptions is it's a long shape. That's all. It is a long shape. He continued trying.
No circular long or triangle
Nope.
long.
It was
long.
just, it's a long shape. So
Okay.
we don't know if that's a pill shaped, a cigar shaped, long triangular shape. They don't know what it is. At 7:10 to 7:11, he reported that his engine was running really roughly. At 7:12 was the final transmission where he called and said the object was hovering and it's not an aircraft. After that statement, approximately 17 seconds of unusual noise were recorded, and the sound has been described in official records as a metallic or scraping noise, and then the transmission ended. There was no confirmed radio communication afterwards, so he was just gone. At 7:12, search and rescue was alerted. At 7:33, he fails to arrive at his scheduled destination. And then on the night of October 21, wow, am I dyslexic too? Sorry. 21 through the 22nd, aircraft and vessels began searching the area. The search eventually involved all of the military, civilian aircraft, ships, and other resources, and they found no wreckage. Sorry, I just got a text here. The 22nd through the 25th was a massive search where the aircraft searched the ocean while vessels searched everywhere around. And despite the efforts, there was absolutely nothing. No confirmed crash site, no body, no emergency beacon, nothing. And then on the 25th, the search was suspended. And another straight victim. We got aliens down here. And that was the end of it. They stopped the search and he was nowhere to be found.
All right. This has been reported on some other sightings similar to what you're talking about, where there's an object and it seems like they're screwing around with the aircraft.
Yep.
And they they all describe it the same as, like you said, a metallic scraping sound.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know if they mentioned whether that was a metallic scraping sound, like it was part of the static, or was it actually part of the actual transmission?
Everything that I saw, it was just the transmission.
So it was actually on his end. He's picking that sound up as he's talking to air traffic control.
Yep.
Okay.
So we both have good audio tonight, I am being told. So that's good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Kings Island is tiny. The wreck would most likely have been Antarctic currents wreckage. So, Nadine, since you're from around that area, I know we did a thing on the Bermuda Triangle, the Hudson Valley Triangle, and many others. Is there a Bermuda-style triangle in that area?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think
I've never even looked down that. Wow, I just almost sounded like a freaking tourism commercial. I've never looked down under.
Yes, similar. All right.
Do you know the name of it? I'd like to actually look that up and see about it.
I've never even thought to look at that.
Yeah.
You know,
if you don't, we can look it up.
Yeah. As I researched this, it made me wonder, anytime somebody's flying a plane, there are so many guidelines and regulations they have to follow. And even in the 70s, they had beacons that, you know, if something happened, they knew where the plane was. And the fact that, you know what happens to tourists down here?
Yes, but if we come down there to you, we're not tourists. We're invited guests, I hope. Or uninvited guests. I'm not sure, whichever.
We're guests, one way or the other.
As long as we're somewhat safe, I'm happy. And I know you don't partake in adult beverages, but you won't see me trying to outdrink an Aussie or a New Zealander or Tasmanian. I will not do it.
Nope. I've learned my lesson with doing stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yep. But yeah, it makes me wonder, you know, because, you know, when you're in the ocean, you know, shit happens, but they can usually find the crash.
Yeah.
You know, if it crashes into the ocean, you know, parts of the plane are still going to come up to the surface. And the fact that there is absolutely nothing, you know, where did it go?
Yeah, no kidding. That's the hard part of doing this episode is, I mean, if we do an episode on Area 51, we don't know everything that's in there.
Yeah.
So we can start following the conspiracy theory rabbit holes. And, you know, then we're talking about portals and alien, and that's great. But on these stories, it's heartbreaking because it's just, and they were never seen again.
Yep.
They're
exactly. I mean,
the conspiracies they can come up and say, well, maybe, but it ends right there.
Yeah, that's just a big shot in the dark. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, and this, like every other one, you know, there's UAP encounters / abductions, there's spatial disorientation, the quote unquote own lights theory, mechanical failure. I mean, people are just trying to throw everything out there to explain what happened. And
I'm sure we do the same thing every now and then.
Yeah, it is fun to read those theories, but they don't help anything. It's, you know, he disappeared, and just like, and I already forgot the name of the guy you did. Was it Brian?
Brian Schaefer.
Yeah, he disappeared. Where did he go? What happened? Well, one of a dozen different things. You just don't know.
Yeah. So I think that's the hardest part for me researching this show tonight was.
Yeah.
I got to the end of the story that I was reading, and then I got to the end of the story I'm writing, and I just stare at it. I'm like, I want more. There's got to be something. And it starts to bring out the true detective in me, and because I'm official. I've listened to true crime podcasts, so
There you go. So
I'm
you
an
know it all.
But yeah, it's like you just end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can speculate Brian was kidnapped or abducted by aliens, sold into slavery in Colombia to harvest the cocoa crop. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, like I tried to go down all these rabbit holes with it and try to find some explanation, and you're never going to.
Yeah.
It's just going to be all speculation. I mean, the next story I do, it's the same, it's
Yep. That's the next story for me. I usually just kind of like to go off my notes and tell a story.
Mhm.
But this one actually affected me pretty bad, where I want to just read the story as I've written it.
All right. And which one is that?
This is on the soldered children, the solder children.
Oh yes, I read a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Isn't that from the 40s?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this story begins in Fayetteville, West Virginia on Christmas Eve, 1945. George and Jeannie Sauter had 10 children. Their oldest son, Joe, was currently in the military and wasn't home. So there were 9 children, plus the mom and the dad in the house that night. Shortly before midnight, some of the younger children asked if they could stay up and play with their toys. It's Christmas Eve. They got to open 1 or 2 gifts before going to bed. And Jeannie agreed. The kids were downstairs playing. They were the older kids. And she eventually went to bed. Sometime around midnight, the telephone rang. Jeannie answered it. A woman she didn't recognize asked for someone she didn't know. Jeannie she reported hearing laughter and glasses clinking in the background. She told the woman she had the wrong number and hung up. That happens. I may have been intoxicated once or twice and misdialed.
Me? Never.
Or misspoke. Either way.
Oh, I misspoke. Okay, I really didn't even mean to do that. Shit. Ooh, yeah. All right.
So the phone call in itself is not really that strange, but when you know what happens next, it becomes very strange. So the phone call's over. Jeannie went back to bed. Later, she reportedly heard something striking the roof. Again, West Virginia. It could have been a pine cone, a tree branch.
Yep.
So she didn't think anything of it. Around 1 to 1:30 on Christmas morning, Jeannie woke up. This time she smelled smoke. The house was on fire. George and Jeannie escaped along with 4 of their children. But Maurice, age 14, Martha, age 12, Louis, age 9, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5, were all in the upstairs bedroom, and they were unable to get out before the house collapsed from the fire. So as of right now, we know where the kids are. They're in the rubble.
Mm-hmm.
When the mom and the dad first made it out, George kept a ladder leaned up against the house just for this reason, as an emergency exit. He gets out and he goes to that ladder to try and get up and get as many of the kids as he can, except the ladder's not there. So he thought he's got a pickup truck, 1940s pickup truck. If he could pull underneath one of the windows, he might be able to climb up to it and reach the children. He tried the first one. It didn't start. Tried a second. It didn't start. And according to the family, these vehicles have been operating normally up to this point. While this is going on, Jeannie actually ran back into the house and called the local fire department. Of course, no 911 back then, so you're calling the actual fire department. She reaches down, grabs the phone, and it's not working. she just automatically assumes that, all right, something's happened to the wire from the fire upstairs. So now we got a missing ladder, 2 dead pickup trucks, a strange phone call, something hitting the roof. And later they found that the phone cable had been cut, not burned. It was cut. So after the fire department gets there, unfortunately, had it been a regular fire department that wasn't way out in the boonies up in the hills, the fire department may have been able to get the kids and save them. But this was a very rural area, and their fire department was all volunteer. So it took several hours to get there. That's why the house ended up collapsing. Everything's finally cooled down. The police are out there, they're investigating, and they find nothing. And by nothing, I mean no evidence of arson other than, like we talked about, the ladder's gone, the trucks aren't working. But they also found no human remains.
Really?
There was no human remains. They reportedly uncovered some small bone fragments. And back then, testing really couldn't do a whole lot. So it came out as possible human. But this was like tiny bone fragments with what, 6 kids? 5 kids? 5 kids so supposedly perished upstairs in this fire. And all they found was a few fragments. It was so bad that George, the fire department said that the house acted as a crematorium and pretty much cremated the bodies. And George couldn't take that. So he went out and he actually started hiring people or paying people to give him information of how hot his house fire would be, as opposed to how hot it needs to be to cremate human bones. And his house fire was nowhere near that. I mean, They figured his house fire was, even though it was a house fire, it was on the low end of the temperature scale for a fire. While he was being interviewed by the police, he remembered having a confrontation with an insurance salesman. This was back in 1945. George is Italian, and the insurance salesman was Italian. And they got into a small argument over Mussolini and the fascist government in Italy. The last thing the salesman said was not, "I hope your house goes up in smoke with your children in it," but "your house will go up in smoke with your children in it."
Yeah.
But he was cleared of any wrongdoing. He wasn't even in the area. So what they've got is maybe the size of a quarter in bone fragments, and that is it for evidence that the children were even in that house.
Dang. That would, I don't even know what to say. That would be, as a parent, to have something like that happen would just be devastating.
Well, it gets stranger. And I told you the ages for this story because it's going to play a very important part right here. In 1967, Jeannie received an envelope postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man, and on the back it was simply written Lewis Sauter. They had some additional words and numbers on the back, meanings never been identified, why they were back there. But both George and Jeannie looked at the photograph and honestly believed that that was their son, alive and older. So they hired a private investigator to travel to Kentucky. And according to the family, the investigator never reported back. They could never get a hold of him again.
Really?
They don't even know if he disappeared. He went to Kentucky. That was the last they heard of him. Now, I'm not saying that he's part of the missing people.
No, I got the impression that he went there, got the information he was supposed to, but they told him not to go back and say anything.
That's what I thought too. And again, this is a rural area, and okay, granted, their house is on fire.
Right.
What was it? 4 of the kids got out, and the mom and dad got out. And the biggest theory is somebody kidnapped the children from the top floor, from the second floor. Well, there's no ladders around.
No.
There is about an hour and a half period because Jeannie did go check on the kids before she went to bed. So there's about an hour and a half period where they can't account for the kids. But you figure if they wake up, let's assume it was a pine cone. They wake up from a pine cone hitting the roof. They're gonna wake up from somebody walking around on the roof too.
Oh yeah.
So
that's just another one of those rabbit holes that you can go down, and it just.
I think the biggest question is if that really was Lewis, why did? All right, we'll go both directions. Why did he send the picture basically saying, Mom, Dad, I'm alive, and then nothing else?
Yeah.
And if you go the other direction, if he was kidnapped, why is the kidnappers sending a picture in 1960? What was it? 1967? 1967. Yeah. Why would the kidnappers send a picture 22 years later?
Yeah. Well, this was actually interesting. Could it be the investigators were not particularly competent? A cut wire seems part of an arson attempt, and if some exotic accelerant was used, perhaps the fire was at a higher temperature than it usually would be.
Those are always those were questions that I was asking reading this. And yeah, I mean, this is rural West Virginia. I'm sure back in 1945 they didn't have NCIS and McGee and all those people to come in and do this. But George actually brought somebody in to go through and see if there was any more bone fragments in the rubble. And he did that at his cost. They couldn't find anything else out. And he brought in like people from the university who do this for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought out his own investigator to see about the temperature. And they agreed that the house was hot. It was in excess of 1,500 degrees, but it wasn't hot enough and on fire long enough to cremate the bones. There should have been larger fragments found.
Yeah. I mean, here's another thought also. And again, it can be, just speculation going down rabbit holes, but, could the parents have possibly been abusive? A good reason for some of the kids to escape, to try and leave, go away. And
okay, I didn't think of that, and that's a really, really good question. But
yeah, I mean, this is the 40s.
Why just 4? Why just 4? And why the youngest 4?
Maybe could have been them. They were the only ones that were abused. I mean,
yeah. But
again, just
hold on. I know I've got it written down somewhere.
Somebody could have assisted them. And that's what I like about doing things like this is very rarely are you going to get a definitive answer on why, but it's the speculation, what could have happened. I like Nadine's response.
Oh, I haven't even seen it. It was Santa. Sorry, I don't mean for the silence there, but
You're fine.
that's actually a really good point. It was Christmas Eve. You know, and if you have 4 kids upstairs, I'm sure this wasn't a huge house in West Virginia in 1945.
Right.
So I'm absolutely sure kids were sharing beds and rooms. But how else would you keep kids quiet on Christmas Eve to sneak them out of a house? I didn't even think about Santa. I
So, all right, the ages of the missing kids and the ages of the saved kids. Anything interesting in comparing them?
oh, actually, it was the 4 oldest that left. No, 3 of the 4. Okay, hold on. This is not right.
I didn't look into it a lot. So,
John's accounted for. He was in the military.
yeah.
So there's 5 kids that passed away.
Yep.
So only 3 got out. Sylvia, George Jr., and Marion. They were 17, 16, and Sylvia was 2.
So, being 17, 16, I mean, in the 40s,
That's adult right there, yeah.
yeah, definitely adult. Even 14 was adult back then. And
Yeah.
then in those rural areas like that, I mean, if there was abuse of any sort, that's not reported. Nobody.
Back in
Nobody knows.
especially in areas like West Virginia, Virginia, out in the Appalachians.
Yep.
I'm not condoning child abuse, but that's pretty much how you got everybody's attention back then.
Oh yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the age, I grew up in is you did something wrong, you got your ass whooped.
yeah.
That was, there's a difference in abuse and getting a spanking. And I know there's people that go too far with it, of course. But it's all these
looking at the ages though, 17 and 16, if there was abuse going on, wouldn't the 2 oldest say, y'all are coming with us? I don't know.
This is where it gets interesting, is because you're unfortunately never going to know.
No.
But if you go through all the theories, you can possibly figure some of it out. I mean, some of them got out, some of them died. Maybe they tried to get who they could. Or, I mean, if you want to go kind of crazy with it, maybe the 17-year-old, maybe that he or she was the one that caused the fire, and the hopes of getting everybody out, but unfortunately only got a few out. It's
all right. I'm gonna go on your theory, and I mean, there's no way I'm gonna solve this, but your theory. Let's assume that. I mean, I would never assume that only some of the children are being abused. It's going to be a majority, or it's going to be 1 or 2.
right.
But let's assume all the kids get abused. I mean, they're getting their butts beat daily. John's in the military. He's 23 years old at this point.
Right.
What if John set it up, told George Marions to make sure all the kids went to bed at the same time? He was going to come get everybody and get out of town. He's 23 years old. He would know where the ladder is. He'd know how to, by this time he's in the military, and being in the military, you do kind of learn how to disable vehicles so you don't have to go on convoys and things like that. No, I would never do that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Disable vehicles. You learn how to cut a phone line.
There you go.
So John sets it up. The rest of the kids all agree. And at the last minute, I don't know, let's say Maurice, the 14-year-old, he says, Ma, can I stay up for a little while longer and play with my new fire truck? And then the other 4 kids join in. I want to play for a couple more minutes. And that screwed the whole plan up. And John just had to cut his loss. Or what if somehow he did get it out and that really was Lewis sending a picture and going on the abuse theory? And I'm not saying that's what it was, but going on that theory, that was Lewis's way of saying, hey, we're still alive. Up yours.
See, that was my initial thought when you said that they hired a private investigator, went to Kentucky, never showed back up. Okay, well, yeah, he did send that picture, postcard, or whatever it was, but maybe that was just to say, like you said, we're alive, but this is what you're missing out on,
Yeah. So I had to search something real quick, so bear with me for 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Well, crap, that just kind of screwed my theory up.
What?
John, George, Marion, and Sylvia remained close to their family and united in their lifelong quest to find the missing children. However, because he refused to discuss the night of the fire because he couldn't accept what happened while he was away, and he should have been there to help. And that was John when he was in the military.
Well, okay, look at this now. What year was this? 40,
This
40
was
what?
1945. As a matter of fact, shortly after the kids passed away, he was serving in World War II, so he was actually overseas at the time.
That's what I was just about to say is 45, military, you're overseas.
Yep. And Sylvia, the youngest, and she was 2? She was one that got out. She grew up feeling like an only child because, her next siblings are now 16, 17, and 23.
Yep.
So while she stayed close to her mom, she did feel like she grew up as an only child.
Yeah, there's I don't know. I mean, even the abuse, if that were the case, a postcard could imply, that, hey, we got out and there's a way for us to report it.
Yeah.
So it's
now this one's going to drive me crazy because the show tonight, I'm going to be researching more and more. And then you're going to call up and say, hey, you ready to film the next Legends? And I'm going to go,
nope.
Oh, is that today?
Well, at least it's not what I chose next, because let's just say that
yours can go down so many rabbit holes.
I
love this story.
I already have, and the main theory is the one that I'm inclined to believe on this one.
All right, well, go ahead and hit us with it, because I'm looking forward to this story. I love this story.
Oh, if you know it, you want to go ahead and do it?
Sure, we'll do it based on my notes. Over 600,000 people are remote. Sorry, I went back to the beginning.
Yeah. Krampus, but he got lost in his day, so he was late.
Yep.
So I'm going to try to do this one as best as I can. And I know I'm going to miss some things, quite a few things, I'm sure. I'm not going to go down all these rabbit holes, but this is on the Roanoke colony.
Okay.
So during the late 1500s, England was competing with Spain, France, and some other European powers / countries for territory and wealth in the New World. Spain had already established, quite a big empire in the Americas, but England wanted to be a part of that. One of the major figures behind the efforts was Sir Walter Raleigh. He had received a royal charter from Queen Elizabeth I, allowing him to establish an English colony in the territory the English called Virginia. And the goal wasn't to simply build a village. They wanted to establish English claim to the territory. They wanted to be able to provide access to resources, create opportunities for trade, and then serve as a base for privateering against Spanish ships. Eventually become a permanent English settlement. In 1584, English explorers traveled to the Outer Banks and investigated Roanoke Island. They encountered the local I always struggle with this word, Algonquin.
Yep, Algonquin.
Okay, Algonquin peoples who had lived in the area for generations. Two men, and I don't know how you say their names, Manteo and Wanchese, became particularly important to them. They were members of different Algonquin communities, and they had traveled to England with the English expedition because of their knowledge of the region and how it would later become extremely important to their attempts to colonize it. The first colony, and it was in April of 1585, was a much larger expedition. The fleet consisted of 7 ships and roughly 600 soldiers and sailors. It wasn't really a normal family settlement. They were just kind of looking at where they could establish base. All right, where's the next one here? Sorry, I'm trying to go through all my notes here like you do. Aha. No, I wrote that one down wrong. So the first colony, I'm completely backwards, excuse me, was 100 men established. On July 22nd was a new expedition of 115 settlers. Originally, they were supposed to settle farther in the Chesapeake Bay area, but their pilot left them at Roanoke instead. So I am lost. Where's his name? John White. My notes are all over the place.
Was that the pilot that left him there, or the captain of the ship?
Huh?
Was that the captain of the fleet, or was that the pilot that left the people on
the pilot of the ship? Sorry, I'm trying to go through all my notes here. They're all over the place. Give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. So the first attempt that they made didn't go well at all. The colonists struggled with food shortages and then a lot of difficult relations with the natives. And they eventually abandoned the colony and went back. But they weren't ready to just kind of give up on their dreams or their goals of colonizing America. And this time they decided they would go a different route, and they brought their families with them. And that's when the 115 colonists traveled there under the leadership of John White. That was his name. He wasn't just the leader of the expedition. He was an artist and a map maker, which was incredibly important to them so that they could document everything that they saw, every place they went. Excuse me. They were attempting to build a permanent community in the area. One of the colonists was John White's own daughter, Eleanor Dare, who was pregnant with a daughter when they arrived, and not long after reaching the island, she gave birth to her daughter, Virginia, who was born on August 18th, and she is traditionally considered the first English child born in the New World, which I had no clue about until I read this story.
I was the same.
Yeah, I knew England, came, but I didn't know anything about this.
And little off subject. Was she not? I don't know.
Go ahead. No,
the daughter was the new child that was born in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Is that who Virginia was named after, or did that come from somewhere else?
I didn't find that, or at least I didn't see that anywhere. All I saw was that John's daughter, Eleanor, was pregnant and then named her daughter.
Never mind. I forgot. I knew this.
Yeah. And
Virginia was named after Queen Elizabeth I.
Okay, then you lost me on that.
Yeah.
Named after Queen Elizabeth I. Okay,
she was known as the Virgin Queen.
Okay. That's
I
new
think
to
it
me.
would have been better to name her Virginia after the first child born in the first American born in the United States, even though we weren't America yet.
Right. And see, that's kind of what I assumed, with Virginia. West Virginia, regular Virginia. Learn something new.
Yeah, I went and I looked it up. Then I glanced down at the comments and found out my beautiful Mrs. Shenanigator had already answered it for me.
Bastardized child of Anne Boleyn, also known as the Virgin Queen. Interesting. Anyway, I was reading about this and I didn't even know this. So that shows how underprepared I was, I guess.
I didn't put that together. I knew her name was Virginia when I had looked at the story. And I had never heard that supposedly she was the first born in what would become the United States.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was, my brain just went elsewhere for a second.
My favorite tutors. Yeah, see, I get lost, and you would think I would know more about this than I do, but when it comes to England, I don't know as much as I probably should. Anyway, so while their life was extremely difficult, they depended heavily on the environment around them. They had to grow food, they had to hunt, fish, and then, of course, establish relationships with the natives that already lived there. Some of them were peaceful. Others were, we all know the story. There was a lot of not. Just know about the two doors here. I have two doors.
Great. I'm going to get smacked for you being a smart aleck.
Yeah, that's my little dad joke.
There should be a response momentarily.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at my notes and then look at that because I'm waiting for it. So they also had limited supplies, and one of the biggest problems was that they were isolated. The Atlantic, separated them from England. So if they needed additional supplies, they couldn't simply just send someone to the nearest town and get them. Oh, I'm so glad you are here. It's made me feel so much better. They needed ships, which required months to travel between North America and England, and they needed supplies. So White had made the difficult decision to return to England. He had planned to go back, get additional supplies, and return to Roanoke as quickly as possible. But there was an issue with that. The English were becoming increasingly involved in their conflict with Spain. And the events in Europe were going to make the return more difficult than he expected. He had returned to England in 1587 and then head back. But that didn't happen because of the possibility of the Spanish invasion. So his, return trip was delayed multiple times. And eventually he was able to organize a voyage to get back. But by the time he was able to return, oh, thank you. 3 years had passed. When he finally arrived in 1590, he expected to find everybody waiting for him. Instead, everybody was gone. The whole colony was gone. No colonists, no welcoming party, no obvious signs of where everyone had gone. The buildings had just been dismantled or had disappeared, and the settlement was deserted. But there was no evidence of a massacre, a battle of any kind. No bodies laying around, no battlefield, no indication that anything had happened. Instead, what he had found was something carved into a tree, and the word was Croatoan. And I know I have heard that somewhere, and I don't know where I heard that, but...
Thank you. I have been racking my brain, and I swear it was in a movie, but it wasn't about this.
No, it wasn't.
But the first time I heard Croatoan, I'm like, I have seen that before. It's in a sci-fi movie.
No, wait a minute. Was it the movie
American Horror Story? Nadine.
Okay. I don't remember. I've watched the first 2 episodes that they ever did. That's it.
I don't think I've seen one American Horror Story.
Well, I swear White Noise. In the movie White Noise, it was brought up, I think.
I don't think I've ever seen White Noise either.
Yeah, it had I can't think of his name. Anyway. But yeah, I know I've seen it in movies or heard it somewhere, and I could not for the life of me think of what it was. Anyway,
Michael Keaton.
That's who it is. Yes, Keaton. White knew what.
Now that I look at it, I have seen it.
Yeah,
maybe that's where I saw it.
Yeah, and White Noise, but it wasn't. Yeah, White Noise was the one where his wife passed away, and he kept seeing weird things. And he found the guy that could talk with the dead and do EVPs and all that stuff. Said his wife was contacting him to talk to Keaton.
Yep.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I heard it. But yeah, the first time I started researching this story, God, it must have been a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Croatoan. That I know that.
Yeah, it was really familiar. And I know I'm missing a whole bunch in this story. Well, 1 second here. Croatoan has been used in spooky movies, but it was the name of an Indian tribe that lived on Croatoan Island, now called Hatteras Island. Hatteras, we did that lighthouse, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. They were friendly to the English and thought they could help them from other hostile local tribes. Oh, I did not know that. I know there's a lot I'm missing, but I kept going down weird ass rabbit holes, and I was trying to avoid that on this one.
Yeah. on this story, I mean, I'm heartbroken because he thought he was going to go
Back to his
back
family.
overseas and come right back. And what, 3 years later?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, it took a lot longer back then to cross the sea.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading how hard he was begging people to let him take the next ship. And when he ended up, he ended up in the middle of a war or something that he had to go fight.
Yeah, it was the Spanish invasion.
Yeah.
And message I just got was actually where I was going next with the story was the colony. You know, he didn't know where anybody was, but the colony most likely split up and they just kind of assimilated and blended in with the other tribes that were around the area.
Yeah.
Archaeology shows evidence of pottery and other English materials both on that island. Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember in one of the articles I read that there were a few members of the tribe that said, yes, we've seen them, they're with us.
Mm-hmm.
But there was never any follow through.
Yeah.
Or they were with us. They were with us. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got that in my notes, what was texted to me. Croatoan was the name of an island to the south of Roanoke. It was associated with the Native American community in the region. While there was another detail that made the discovery even more intriguing. White had previously instructed the colonists that if they ever had to leave, they should carve the name of their destination into a tree. And if they left under dangerous circumstances, they were supposed to carve a cross above the word, but there was no cross above it. That suggested something important, that perhaps they had deliberately moved, perhaps they had gone to Croatoan Island, and perhaps they had left the message specifically so that someone would know where they had gone. But he couldn't immediately investigate because a storm was approaching and his ships were in danger, so he was forced to leave. He never found his daughter, he never found his granddaughter, and he never discovered what happened to the rest of the colonists.
Yeah. That one. What's that?
Oh, sorry, I was reading. The location was where also some British materials have been found in another location further inland. This location was where White had planned to make a fort. There is a map that confirms this, supposedly. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. This was one of those that I tried and tried. I was reading the story. I looked at so many things. And then my conspiracy theorist, weird brain goes, oh, that's interesting. Let's make a left here and then a right here and we'll go down here. And then all of a sudden I'm somewhere else and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So I miss so much stuff.
But if you're looking at that story, even though it may lead nowhere, you've got to follow the rabbit holes.
Yeah, it's
like Montauk.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I kept looking
at. You gotta follow it, even though it may lead you to more BS.
Oh yeah. And in the end, what I had really found was there's possibilities, there's theories, but there's really no definitive answer. But the most likely explanation was, what I said, that, some people may have starved and perished, but most likely they just abandoned it altogether and thought, well, he's not coming back, so we need to figure out what to do. Yeah. And they moved on.
I know, I think you mentioned it, but I do remember reading that the Croatoan Island that they thought that they were going to, they were going to the tribe over on the island, if that's what it actually meant. the tribe that they would have gone to was the friendly tribe.
Yeah.
They were, I mean, that's even one that said, yeah, they were with us.
Yeah, it was interesting, and I knew it was going to be rough for me to tell this story today because of how much pain I'm in. But aside from that, I mean, there's just so many possibilities. I think, you know.
Oh yeah.
Just all these rabbit holes. They were because Virginia Dare was supposedly the first English child born in the U.S. Her name has been adopted by white supremacists who despise non-white people. Oh, okay. She is held up falsely as a white person murdered by indigenous people. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, interesting.
Very interesting.
All right.
Huh. I have never heard that. That's definitely interesting. I mean, I know out west you hear, you know, the tales of the cowboys and Indians and stuff that I grew up with out here. It is so different than the stories you hear from the East Coast.
Yeah. No, this is. I've thought about this for a while, and I know you pretty much nailed all the facts in it. But this is one I wouldn't mind doing an episode on by itself.
You know, before we decided to do this episode on mysterious disappearances, I had run across this story, you know, talking about Roanoke Colony, the lost colony. And I've always thought it would be a fun episode to do. DNA of local tribes. No, native tribe. Indicate the colony integrated. Huh.
Every time I read it, I didn't know about the DNA of the local tribes, but I kind of lean towards, you know, they integrated with the tribe. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, after 3 years, even the wife's like, nah, I'm not waiting anymore.
No.
You know, the man left us on the wrong shore and then disappeared for 3 years.
Yep. Yeah, for many years, the theory was that the colonists were massacred by the local tribes, but recent studies show assimilation rather than execution. And, you know, talking about mysterious disappearances, this is one of the biggest ones that kept popping up for me. But as interesting as it is, I don't think it was just a mysterious disappearance. I think they just moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think if we were to just make this a whole show, I wouldn't do it on just the disappearance. I'd do it on the conspiracy theory rabbit holes. Just pick like 2 or 3 of our favorite.
I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
And
there are a ton of rabbit holes in this.
Yeah, see, I thought it would be fun to do because of, you know, whole colony just disappears. That's interesting. You know, what happened? But then as I got further and further into it, I thought, okay, well, they didn't just disappear. But then when you get down to the rabbit holes, it's definitely interesting.
So I swear you answered this at the beginning, and I may have just forgot because, you know, my brain's not functioning right now. At the beginning, did you mention why he dropped them off at the wrong place, or was it just he did it?
What I saw, and if I saw otherwise, I don't remember, was that the pilot dropped him off at the wrong place. That was it.
Okay, so it wasn't, for some reason in my brain, I was thinking, well, maybe he got a call. Wait a minute, Steve. They didn't have radios back then. How's he going to get a call?
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know, somewhere along the lines of, hey, I've got to get back to England for something. I'm going to dump you guys here instead of over there.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if that's actually what I read or not.
My guess was that it was either done mistakenly, dropped off in the wrong spot, or there could have been something, you know, due to, like I said later in the story, where the weather, you know, turned bad. You know, you can't make it to where you're going.
All right.
So we're going to leave you here.
I think I'd probably go along with the weather idea because,
Yeah.
you know, they were caught with weather, and a couple of days later, caught by weather again. Kind of leads me to believe they're in the middle of storm season down in Virginia, where they pop up almost daily.
Yeah.
It is a really cool story. I love the story of Croatoan, and I am so happy that I finally know where
it's from.
Croatoan the first time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm sure I butchered quite a bit of it, but it is what it is. I got most of the important facts in it.
Yep. So I thought when we first started doing this whole thing, I thought, all right, there's going to be one or two really good ones. I want to stay away from, you know, like I'm just using Travis Walton. I know he was found, but an alien abduction.
I tried to stay away from that.
Strange and unusual with no idea what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, there can't be, I don't know, 100, 200 stories like that. There's 162 on the FBI's public VICAP page alone that are strange and unusual missing persons cases. There are thousands and thousands of strange stories like we just did.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to. Well, thank you, Mrs. Shenanigator. It was really confusing in a lot of parts because I have all these different things I've typed up. Like if you saw the screen, and these different pages open with things highlighted, and I'm looking, trying to go in order, and I'm like, wait a minute, I already did that, and so I'm having to bounce back and forth. But yeah, I tried to stay away from anything paranormal or alien abduction. But you know me, once I saw that one of Frederick, I'm like, ooh,
yep,
mysterious, and he saw something. I'm gonna go with that.
You know, whether, well, I mean, until somebody said that's a Australian Air Force fighter jet, everything's unidentified. But that was an interesting story, and I have heard several reports of pilots saying, whatever's up here is just screwing with me right now.
Yeah. Speaking of Travis Walton, just to go off that for a minute, I don't know how or when exactly it happened. I think it was just recently. But he sat down with Lazar and they had a big interview together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw that in either on a podcast or on a page. Somebody had said, yeah, they did it at the that one diner in Las Vegas, or outside of Las Vegas by Area 51.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Out near the Little Ailey Inn.
Yep.
Yep. I am going to have to find that sit down then. Because the two of them together, that ought to be really interesting.
Yeah, I haven't even looked it up yet, but they said it. was a very good interview.
Oh, speaking of that, I mean, we are going to go hang out in what, 4 weeks now? Yeah, about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We are going to go hang out with all of these people that we've discussed on the show, and we're going to be reporting to everybody what we're hearing, and we're going to try and get some good pictures and videos throughout the day and post them up there. So,
yeah, I know we had talked about it earlier, but I figured we'd mention it now. When we go live that Friday,
oh yes, thank you.
Be later. It's going to be Utah time.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be until like 8 o'clock Utah time.
Yeah.
So that's like 10 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, the panels that we're looking to go to end at like 6:30 Mountain Time.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back to where we are and ready to do the show at 8 o'clock. But for that episode, it will be a later start, which probably works really well in Nadine's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets a couple extra hours.
There you go. A couple extra hours of sleep, relaxation.
Yeah.
Drinking
enough coffee to put up with our chaos and BS.
Yep. And I promise I'll be feeling better by then.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to miss that. They can cut my arms and legs off. I'm still going to. Yay, I can sleep in. You expect me to stay up that late? It's great for Nadine, though. Yes, I expect you to stay up that late. Yeah, there is nothing that is going to stop me from going to that.
Oh, that's right. For anybody that is into 3i Atlas, they did announce a new guest for the Phenomenon.
Yep.
And I'm sure Alien Mike is not excited about this one at all.
Nope. Not at all.
Who are they bringing in, Mike?
Avi Loeb. I cannot wait.
I am so looking forward to meeting him, listening to his panel, and realizing, wow, I didn't get any of the intelligence. It was all given to this guy.
Yeah. He is. I was recommended if you go, I want to say it's medium.com. Let me pull that up. medium.com. Yeah. If you go to medium.com, it's almost like Substack, like a blog. Avi Loeb has his own on there where you can read everything, all the articles he's writing. And it is fascinating.
I will have to check that out over the weekend.
Yeah, I had a good friend turn me onto that, and I'm constantly on it now, reading stuff and realizing that I'm dumber than I actually am.
That's a horrible feeling, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Like, I know this, and then you read something, you go, wow, I'm really stupid.
Yep. I feel that way quite often when I hang around with some of the friends we hang around with here.
Yep. Very smart individuals.
Very smart. So you got anything else on strange and mysterious disappearances?
Other than if I disappear, somebody needs to look for me.
But give your knees time to relax before they find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd work.
Pretty much.
I do want to put out an apology, and that's for anybody that stumbles across this. We do tend to get a little sarcastic and say dumb things, but just know if we did it for any of the victims that we talked about tonight, we didn't mean it. I mean, we are heartbroken about these disappearances and how the families don't have closure. So some of the stuff we mentioned
may
have seen
Colin, what is up?
Colin.
How are you doing?
So yeah, we don't mean any disrespect to any of the families of the victims. You know, it's just kind of our way of talking about things, and if it came across wrong, wasn't meant to come across wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I was just told, hey, they can put a chip in you. And I went, well, the aliens can, not our government. I'm too paranoid for somebody to chip me.
Yeah, I'll stay away from the chips too. That's a whole nother episode.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna touch on that subject real quick.
All right.
So I saw, I don't know when it was. It was a little while ago that they were working on those chips that you can put in your arm or whatever, your hand, and all your information is on it. So you can download your debit card, your credit cards, your everything. And so instead of tapping your phone, you just go like that and tap your hand, or like, no, thank you. No.
Yeah.
One more way for people to track me. No, thank you.
No. If they want to track me, it's really easy. We've got flop cameras everywhere.
Don't even get me started on that.
So I have a hard enough time protecting my debit card itself. I'm not about to put my debit card information or credit card information in my arm.
Nope.
But if they can chip me and give me more intelligence, I might do that one.
Hard pass on that for me too. Yeah, I mean, all joking aside, I mean, the features of it, I'll say, oh, that's pretty cool. You don't have to carry around anything with you. You can just go beep. Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
But no, like they know where I am by my phone. They know what I search on my computer. They see me all the time on here. Like, I don't need another excuse for them to come after me.
Yeah, and you're getting it first. You're what, 15 minutes away from the NSA Center?
Oh, yeah. Which is funny. Whenever I go down there, I'll be walking with my friend, and we'll stop by that. We'll sometimes pass by that building, and I'll just sit there and just stare. Go walk by a camera and just look at it and just sit there and stare. I'm like, I'm on to you. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm with Colin.
I don't either. I know too many people that they use that Apple Pay or Google Pay and all that, and it's like, man, you are putting a lot of trust in that. And I've just turned into a very paranoid individual. Like, nope.
Here's what I think is hilarious is our lives are supposedly on here now.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say, I don't know, 50% of the people want to get the chip in their arm. And the other 50% is, I'm not going to give the government any way to track me, as they're typing that out and posting it on Facebook.
Yeah. If you don't
want by having dinner with close friends at Millhouse Brewing in Poughkeepsie.
I was just about to say Millhouse. Yeah.
You're tracking yourself, people.
Yeah.
And the government thanks you. Oh, sorry. Thank you, government.
Hold on. Wait. Yeah.
And that wasn't even planned. We did good.
No, not at all. Yep. And everybody wonders why I want to go to Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that hermit with the long gray. Well, it's already getting there. The long gray beard, running around screaming at the sky and the trees.
And Mrs. Shenanigator, why don't make me more paranoid than I am already? Oh
yeah, I don't need to be any more paranoid.
Yeah, Yeah, we found these shirts on Amazon, and
Yep.
Mike surprised me and sent me one, and I'm kicking myself in the butt for not coming up with the idea first. So, but I love this shirt.
Oh yeah.
And we got some new shirts that we're going to be showing off.
Have you finished it yet?
I've got yours and mine done.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I gotta get one for little Shenanigator and a couple for the parents, but yeah. It's all been cut out and ready to go. I just need to put it on the shirts. That's 5 minutes worth of work.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I really am.
Yep. So, and I can't wait to see if it actually works, because it is supposed to be glow in the dark.
Oh, I thought I had it on. Well,
yeah, like the one, yep, like that one.
These ones are glow in the dark.
They are. Freaked me out the first time. I wasn't expecting them.
Yeah, when you turn off the lights and all of a sudden you're like,
walk into the kitchen or the bathroom without turning the lights on, and all of a sudden you're lighting up the room.
yes, sir.
So, upcoming episode, we're not setting up a merch store yet, but it's coming soon. Yes,
it will be.
Soon.
There's things that I know on my side that I need to work out first. I don't know, as far as like shirts, if it's something that we want to do ourselves, or if I want to do like Magister Frost and drop ship it.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when we get to it.
So
look at pricing and everything.
Yeah, but
I know I don't want to have, I don't want to put a T-shirt out there and have nobody order it, but I printed up 400 of them. And I don't want to print up one or two and then be told, hey, you have 1,000 orders.
Yeah. And see, that was my issue and that's what I like about the drop shipped is they make it and send it, but it all depends. So, but yeah, we will be eventually.
Yep. One thing I will guarantee after going through the cases we went through tonight, I got a feeling there's going to be more episodes over the next year about strange and mysterious disappearances.
Oh, 100%.
As a matter of fact, we have a strange disappearance episode coming up in November, don't we?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
If anybody knows what anniversary is in November, this was something that I have wanted to do for years.
This one is perfect,
and
because it's got a mixture of the best conspiracy theories.
That's what I like about it, is the conspiracy theories.
I do too.
So for those that are interested, we are going to be doing a one, if not 2-part episode on DB Cooper.
Yep. And we're going to tell the story and dive into a few of the conspiracies. And I know, what's his name? Brad Meltzer. I forget his name. He's a big time conspiracy theorist author.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He actually had a series on DB Cooper, and I listened to some of those, and at first I wasn't a big DB Cooper fan, but I started listening to his theories of, they would actually go out and investigate each of the theories and talk to the people that were posting about it. And it started to sound pretty legitimate.
Oh yeah. I've seen so many stories and things about it, but honestly, one of my favorite renditions of DB Cooper was the show Prison Break.
Yep.
When it was, now I can't even think of the guy's name on the show. But Charles Westmoreland they were adamant that he was DB Cooper. And in the end, you find out he really was. that he got locked up.
I
but-
honestly missed that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go back and find that.
Yeah. So Westmoreland, he was the old guy that always had the cat with him. Yeah. So in the end of like the first or second season, first season when they break out of prison, he dies, but he tells them, "Hey, you were right the whole time. This is where the money is."
I thought I saw all of them, but I'll have to go back and watch it again. I thought I saw all of them. So yeah, there's going to be some more shows on strange and mysterious disappearances. Just because it's strange, it's right up our alley.
Yeah.
So there'll be more of those. We do have an upcoming episode, but we're not going to tell you about it yet because it can go one of two ways. So until it's confirmed with a possible guest or two, we're going to hold off on letting you know. But just know we've talked about it in the past, and if you guys went back and looked, you'd know exactly what we're talking about. And that episode's coming up soon if everything's confirmed.
Yep. Colin, you are 100% correct. They broke out of prison. Why the hell am I watching another season with them getting locked in another prison? Like, yeah, it went off the rails. Yeah, so what do we have for next week, Steve?
For next week, we will have a video dropped on Friday, and that will be the Rendlesham UFO.
Rendlesham.
Rendlesham.
I think it's Rendlesham Forest, the one in London, or outside of London, England.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said London.
Yeah, I'm probably pronouncing it the U.S. Air Force way.
Yeah.
We're going to Rendlesham Air Force Base.
Okay, what are we doing for Wednesday?
For Wednesday, for the Midnight Legend, we are going to be doing the Hillbilly Beast of Kentucky. We're even going to be bringing Daniel Boone into that story.
There we go. Hillbilly Beast of Kentucky. I think that was my ex.
Did she move to Kentucky? And did she know Daniel Boone?
Pretty sure.
Well,
if
that's the case, you did much better.
Well, thank you.
And like me, married way above your pay grade.
100% I did.
Yep, we both did. So yeah, that's the next episode will be posted soon. It's not going to be the day of. So we're going to start teasing it as soon as things are confirmed.
Yep.
While we got him on here, our good friend Colin over at the Horrific Podcast, please go, if you haven't, go over and check him out. Give him a subscribe. Watch an episode. Watch 100 episodes. Watch 1,000 episodes. I don't know how many he has. I don't get to watch him live as much as I would like, but
Rendlesham.
But go over and check out the Horrific Podcast. If it weren't for Colin, we would not be here.
Yeah.
So a big shout out to Colin and the Horrific Podcast for pretty much knocking us on our ass and say, guys, just do it. And while you're doing that, our good friend Carl over in Sweden and his good friend Alien Mike have their podcast. So head on out and go check out.
Sorry, that was me.
No, I didn't freeze. My brain froze. Skogan Outdoor Podcast.
Oh, like you can't remember the name? It's right there.
Wow.
It's right flashing across the screen.
There. Dude, it was right there in my brain. And as I was ready to say Skogan, what went to my brain was skull.
It's been one of those days.
And I'm like, all right, it's either Skoll and I'm a Viking, or I'm looking for some chewing tobacco over at the 7-Eleven.
Hey, that's what I chewed.
So, but it threw me for a loop because my brain just flat out shut down.
Welcome to the club. Yes, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. We just had a meeting Sunday, and we're putting together the outline for a new episode, which will hopefully be out soon.
So I'm going to make sure, I forgot to do it the last couple of times, but I'm going to make sure there's a link to Colin's podcast in there. There's a link to Skogan Outdoor.
Yeah.
So please, the more people that we have, the more people that they have.
Also,
the better everything looks.
Yeah.
And the more fans we've got coming in, the more love we can give to them.
Yeah, and that's something that I wanted to put out now too, because oh my goodness, now I forgot the name of it. Oh shit, what? Okay, Steve, we just had a new follower on YouTube. Oh, that's the name, the Wormhole Podcast. Somebody that I just met.
Wormhole Podcast.
Yeah, is into the same music I am. All I did was reply to a comment he made on a page, and then I accidentally clicked on his name, and I went Wormhole Podcast, and I realized that he does a similar podcast. So he started following us. We followed him. So give him a shout out. And I'm not sure how new they are, but check out the Wormhole Podcast. I know it's on YouTube.
I looked at, I want to say they had something like 4,500 followers.
No, there was only like 35, 40.
Well, crap. Who did I follow?
I
might be in a cult. I don't know.
Yeah,
I might have signed up for a cult accidentally.
I could be wrong. I'm going to it right now. Just give me 1 second.
Yes, I've seen some of the changes, and yeah, for the smaller channels, it is getting harder and harder.
I'm literally up.
Any love you guys can give.
Hold on, I didn't see what that said. Why it's important to support smaller channels. It's not going to get any easier. Yeah. So okay, they have 41 subscribers.
Where was I?
I have no idea.
Hey, if I'm not here for the Legends episode on Wednesday, start doing Google searches for cults. I may have joined one today. I don't know.
I think so. But yeah, it was funny because I look down and I see Skinwalker Ranch, and I start laughing and I go, dude, we've never done an episode on Skinwalker Ranch. I've never even been there, but I live like 2 hours from there.
Yeah.
Like, interesting.
Well, we may not be doing the episode from Skinwalker Ranch, but you can almost see it from where we're going to be.
Yeah. Well,
and we're gonna actually drive right up to the main gate and take a photo.
Oh yeah. And I don't know about anymore, but I know it was probably before Brandon took over, but you used to be able to go to the bluff to the top and be able to look from the bluff.
You can still go on the public land up there.
Okay.
And there's actually a campground next door to Skinwalker Ranch that will bring you on tours right up to the property line.
All right. Well, depending on where that's at, I might have to take a little stroll up to that bluff and look out.
Yeah. But what I can say is there's going to be some late night sky viewing while we're there, because it's not just Skinwalker Ranch, but the residents around the Skinwalker Ranch in Duchesne, all over in this area, are reporting activity of orbs and unidentified aerial phenomenon constantly.
Yeah.
It's not like a happens twice a year thing.
No, it's all the time. I'm trying to, well, I'm going to ask you now, because as you know, I'm driving up. Are you going up with your mom and dad, or are you going to come up with me?
Actually,
I don't know
what I'm going to talk to you about. We can talk when we're done.
Okay, because I've got a bunch of stuff I was going to bring if it's just me. But if
take it, I'll ride up there with them. You going to follow us up?
Yeah, I figured I'd follow. We'll talk about it after.
All right. So, oh yeah. Ooh, I almost did it again, Mike.
Uh-oh. What happened now?
Like, subscribe, follow, share. I forgot it all.
Yeah. Hit the button.
Yeah, please.
The button.
Yeah, give a thumbs up to the show. Follow us if you're not following us. You know, we've named that little bell icon baby, or we've named that bell icon Blorp. So we want you to smash the crap out of Blorp to get notified when our videos drop. And also it makes us feel better that you guys are taking our techno demon over there, that little Blorp fool, and pounding his head. And that, I think, is all I've got. What you got, Mike?
I think that's all I've got for today.
All right. Well, thank you to everybody that showed up. Thank you for all the comments. Much love, much appreciated.
Yep.
Till the next time, stay spooky.
And keep watching the skies.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.